Library of Heaven's Path. Chapter 75, Shang Chen pukes blood. Before, when I discussed several questions in the teacher qualification examination with Zhang Xuan, not only was he able to answer them clearly, he was able to come up with 7 to 8 answers for each of them. Furthermore, I was unable to come up with some of the answers he proposed. His comprehensive knowledge is indeed worthy of respect. Back then, I was puzzled over how he was unable to score a single mark in the simple teacher qualification examination. Turns out that the results being released were falsified. Shen Bairu suddenly recalled something and interjected. Rage could be seen in her beautiful eyes. Yesterday night, she tested Zhang Xuan and the other party managed to answer her questions easily. Back then, she thought that it was weird. Now, upon hearing the conversation, she came to a realization. He must have answered those questions correctly, but the Education Bureau didn't give him the marks for it. That was to say, there was nothing wrong with his paper, but the teacher from the Education Bureau marking his paper gave him 0 marks. Why? Why did he do so? It is no wonder that Zhang Xuan refuses to speak up. After all, you are all colleagues. If he were to reveal the truth, not only will it sunder the relationship among you all, it will affect the reputation of the academy as well. Just for this, he is willing to carry the burden of being labeled as trash. The more clan head Wang Hong pondered about the matter, the more he comprehended and came to a realization of the situation. Didn't you see how Zhang Xuan was hesitating just a moment ago over revealing the truth? If it wasn't for him being forced to a corner, he might very well have concealed this secret deep in his heart for the rest of his life. Even if he was misunderstood by everyone else, he would bear this burden silently within. In fact, despite all of your efforts to oppress him, all he did was to display his cultivation without explaining a thing. We even had to guess the details of what happened. What was an exemplary role model? This was. What was a non-materialistic and noble teacher? This was. Once the issue of the bias of the academy were to spread out, everyone will start to doubt the authenticity of the results of the academy's teacher qualification examination, and uncertainty will be cast over the other teachers' ability to teach. If that's the case, the academy will descend into chaos. He would rather be misunderstood by others and bear the burden of it by himself silently than to speak of it. This magnanimity and selflessness. An elder from the Wang clan got more and more agitated as he spoke. To think that there would be such a noble teacher in the world. It was laughable that we even thought that he was incapable of anything, and that he was a useless trash. As they spoke, the furious eyes of the crowd turned towards Elder Shang Chen. Look at him, then look at yourself. You are both teachers, but why was there such a gap between the conduct of you two? Zhang Xuan valued friendship and he would rather take all the insults by himself than to betray his own colleagues, yet you all. Shang Chen was about to go frenzied. The heck, what was going on? What falsifying results? What value friendship? You were indeed Genkai realm the previous time, and your written paper is a mess. Not getting a single mark at all was perfectly normal given those standards. I personally reviewed the papers myself, so it is impossible for a mistake to occur. How did it turn into me oppressing you? Zhang Xuan, you are really despicable. I dare you to clarify everything up. Elder Shang Chen only felt a mouthful of fresh blood swirling in his mouth, ready to spurt out at any moment. Zhang Xuan was shocked upon seeing such a commotion break out. Actually, what I meant to say is that the Education Bureau made a mistake while marking the examinations. Why did the situation get so out of control? All of your imaginations are way too wild. However, cough cough. I kind of like the way things are going. There should at least be a reason for me to oppress him. As the head of the Education Bureau, an elder of the academy, there's no reason for me to oppress a low-level teacher. As expected of the head of Education Bureau, Elder Shang Chen swiftly found a dissonance in the situation. There was always a motive and reason behind every action. Given his esteemed identity, there was no reason for him to scheme against an ordinary teacher. Does anything more need to be said about the situation? Your grandson, Shang Bin, wishes to aim for the position of the star teacher of the younger generation, but due to the existence of Zhang Lishi, who possesses an incredible level of cultivation and capability at such a young age, he is unlikely to emerge victorious over him. Thus, in order to prevent such a situation from occurring, you decided to eliminate him from the race. The one who spoke this time was Elder Mo. The more he spoke, the more furious he got, to the point that his beard was being blown into the air by his breath. I might not have concrete proof on this incident, but I have been looking over the situation today from the start to the end. The enlightenment will trial, the bet, and the oppression. Shang Chen, you are indeed incredible. To think that I was friends with you for so many years, Mo Xiang, must truly be blind. Elder Mo viewed villainous acts and villains with contempt. Due to the words of the other party, he made the journey here today to clean up the scums of the teaching circle. Yet, all he saw was Elder Shang using all kinds of methods to oppress Zhang Lishi. On the other hand, Zhang Lishi kept using facts to prove his innocence. Wasn't it clear that there was a problem here? If even this much was insufficient to prove anything, then wouldn't that mean that Mo Xiang, was blind? I can also testify that I saw Elder Shang Chen intentionally oppressing Zhang Lishi with my own eyes. For him to do it so apparently before us, who knows what kinds of methods he resort to behind our backs. One really can't judge a person by his cover. To think that the head of the Education Bureau would commit such atrocities for his grandson. He is a beast. The moment Elder Mo opened his mouth, many people started to chirp in, indignant in Zhang Xian's stead. Elder Shang Chen felt faint-headed and he was on the verge of going crazy. I really didn't oppress him. It's just that he trampled on my dignity today, that's why I am finding trouble with him. If I said that I didn't know much about him before today, only that his standards as a teacher was inadequate, would you all believe me? However, judging by the furious expression of everyone else, he knew that there was no use trying to explain his way out of it. The current him was as though mud had fallen into his pants, it was feces regardless of whether it was true or not. Turning around to look at the one who started all these, Zhang Xian, his hands were still behind his back and a bewailing expression covered his face, as though he was unwilling to reveal the secret. The heck you were unwilling. This was all because of your bullshit. You were the one who were incapable and scored a 0 in the teacher qualification examination. Why did it suddenly turn into our Education Bureau falsifying your results and me oppressing you? How was this incident, in any way, related to me or the Education Bureau? Pu. Unable to suppress it any longer, the fresh blood welling in his chest spurted forth. Humph, to think that you still have to cheek to vomit blood after committing such shameful actions. If it was me, I would have long crashed my head on a pillar to commit suicide. How shameless. How did someone like you become the head of the Education Bureau of Hongtian Academy? Not to mention, he is an elder. There is a problem with his character. I think that we should revoke his teaching license. Upon seeing him spurt blood, not only did no one sympathize with him, their words grew even harsher. How did this happen? Shangbin and Cao Xiong were dumbfounded. Just a moment ago, the winning ticket was in their hands and they were about to achieve victory. How did the situation get reversed so suddenly? What the heck was going on? After spurting out a mouthful of blood, Elder Shang Chen felt more comfortable and his head cleared up as well. He gazed at the surroundings and his hand trembled. Then, looking at Zhang Xian with undisguised hatred, he said, I am unable to vindicate myself of the claim that you scoring a 0 in the teacher qualification examination is oppression on my part. However, what about the student who went berserk? This incident happened in your classroom, how are you going to explain it then? You might have millions of reasons and excuses, but a student going berserk in your class is an irrefutable truth. Let's see how you will explain that. Gaden, Zhang Xuan's heartbeat.